Welcome back, everyone. So we've all been inside for a while. We've all been kind of chilling. And in this pandemic, a crazy thing happened as well. I mean, beyond all the other craziness, all the Nintendo Switches and Switch Lights pretty much all went out. They were all sold out. So at that point, people had to pretty much go back to the older generation, the 3DS and the 2DS, and I figured I might as well go ahead and compare these two in 2020. Now, I've already done separate reviews on these things like crazy, but I've never done a full comparison between these two, so I figured I might as well talk about them a full many years later after they've been announced for a very long time. Now, first thing I want to say is that you really can't go wrong with either one of these. Now, my personal favorite would definitely be the 3DS. The 2DS, the design is either a pro or a con for you. That's honestly one of the things that's going to draw you in or draw you out. And when I'm holding the 2DS in my hands, for some reason my hands, it just does not feel right. But I've also met people and saw posts online and everything about people who love the design of the 2DS and they prefer it over the 3DS. So you can't really go wrong with either one of these. I will say though, with the 3DS, I like that clamshell design, and I always have. I like how the Switch is too, but if it was between the 3DS or the Switch, I would probably end up taking a 3DS type of design. If the Switch were to bring some type of clamshell design, I think that would be really cool. But price-wise, at least, especially considering these things are older now, the 2DS is still going to cost you less. I don't even think you can buy either of these brand new anymore, but in the used market, the 2DS is still going for a little bit less. But the crazy thing is the 3DS, I've seen a couple of these go even lower than the prices of the 2DSs. So I would say like median price for the 2DSs are like $25 to $30 in the used market. Sometimes they can shoot up to $50, but it's around that, before the pandemic. Now I think they've increased the price, but the 3DSs are also around that same price. I think I paid about like $35 or less than $40 for mine. I paid like $50 for my 3DS XL like 2 years ago. So with this 3DS, I like it a lot, but the 2DS still has a lot of value too. So looking on the front, I mean, obviously they have the dual camera setup, which is such an interesting design. They both have it. They both have front facing cameras too, which is really cool. Touch screens on the bottom. Now, if you flip the 3DS open and you're looking at the screens, they both have, screen setups as well. The 2DS has a 3.53 inch LCD panel up the top. That one is 400 by 240. The bottom, it is 3.02 inches and it's a resistive touchscreen. And that one is 320 by 240. So a little bit of a different resolution on both screens, where the 3DS has that 3.53 inch screen at the top and a 3.02 inch screen at the bottom, and they're both kind of the same, but apparently the resolution on the 3DS's panel are a little bit higher, so don't quote me on that, but that is something that I've seen on my spec sheet, so I don't really know what's going on with there. Now, at the core of them, they're both almost identically the same. They both have the same type of input, stylus, the same screen, the joysticks are still there, like basically everything is still there, everything is still normal, which I think is cool and I really like that a lot. However, it really just comes down to the design. Do you prefer the 3DS's design or do you prefer the 2DS design? And like I said, they both have the exact same type of capability at the end of the day. What I will tell you though is that the Nintendo 2DS has one of the bigger advantages between these two, and that is to me the battery life. I feel like the 2DS's battery life is a little bit better in the long run. I felt like it was pretty good, and I think it is better than the 3DS, which I didn't find having like a horrible battery life. But between both, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the 3D toggle, which honestly does take up a lot of battery at the end of the day. I felt like that actually added a little bit more of a pro for the 2DS because it didn't have to mess with the 3DS's 3D toggle and all that stuff. So I think that's a really good thing and kind of a pro for the 2DS. And now I think the 2DS XL is the only Nintendo console like from the 2D and 3DS lineup that's still being sold worldwide, which is pretty insane. So between both, I mean, that kind of is an advantage. And the one thing I always look at a console is, the modding capabilities behind it. Am I able to mod it easily? Am I able to mess with it easily? And with a console like the 2DS, I'm able to modify it fairly easily. It's not hard to modify it at all. And the same exact thing goes for the 3DS and 3DS XL. All my consoles are modded and I had a great time doing it. It really wasn't too difficult. I modded my Nintendo Switch and that took a super long time. That was crazy how long that thing took, just because you kept messing up and all this stuff. But with the 3DS and the 2DS lineup, perfectly fine. So basically what I'll tell you down is basically how I started it, like which one would you prefer holding in the hand? If you are okay with having a longer console and that can't fold and you can bend it and go from there, then the 2DS is a great way to go. It's cheaper. It has the exact same capabilities for the most part as a 3DS, just besides that 3D toggle, which I don't even think anybody uses anyway anymore. You still have that touchscreen, you still have those great controls, you still have, pretty good screens in that joystick. But the 3DS, I think for me, is probably the one I would end up using the most. You have that better build quality, which is extremely cool. When I'm feeling it in the hand, it feels really good, you know what I mean? The 2DS feels cheaper, which, you know, is kind of the thing it's going for, is supposed to be less expensive. But I feel like with the 3DS, I would rather spend a little bit more money and gain just that extra, you know, the feeling in the hand and the premiumness. You get those a little bit of a better screens. They might be the same, but, you know, for me, I think they might look a little bit better. You have those 3D toggles if you want to use them, which nobody uses them anyway. But between both, it really just comes down to the design, you know what I mean? So that really pretty much covers it, guys. If you have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it would mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those things are linked down below. I'd really appreciate it if you guys would check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.